Welcome, fans, to episode 78 of Rangers Ed. This is your host, Cousin Ed, here with our co-host here, Little Ed. What's up, bud?
How we doing? Excited to be back on. We got a little special guest for you guys. The Rangers or the whole NHL released the reverse retro 2.0s last week. So we're having our buddy and longtime listener and fan, Oscar from Pro Stitch Hockey, on for you guys to discuss that and what he does and everything. So yeah, looking forward to a nice little guest here to break it up a bit.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Definitely, if you're into jerseys, you're going to want to hear that interview. We got Coach Ed there with his Espo jersey hanging in the background. What's up, Coach?
What's up, fellas?
Coach is here in the Ranger room today. I like that.
I was in it last week too.
Yeah, I noticed. That's 2 weeks in a row.
I'm back home.
And we got producer Mikey Produces over there with the Lundqvist banner on that white wall. What's up, Mikey?
Not much. It's in my office here.
So we only got 2 games to talk about, boys, but what else is going on with you, Little Ed?
They were rough ones, those games.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, do we have to do this episode?
I don't know. Not many positives to find out. The awards, the weekly awards is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's only 2 games. How do we even do it? All right, we'll figure it out.
Well,
We got plenty to talk about, even though it's only 2 games. A lot going on in the hockey world. So prior to the last episode, the Rangers, prior to this episode, the Rangers were 3-1-0. Since then, they are 0-1-1, 3-2-1 on the season. 7 points, 5th in the Metro, 15th in the NHL. Not really where you want to be, but it's early. Last episode we talked about it. Dryden Hunt placed on waivers. He was actually claimed by the Avalanche, who the Rangers are playing right now, which I'll be watching on delay, so don't spoil it for me.
He's definitely going to score.
Yeah, he's definitely going to score. Facing Alexander Georgiev, our arch nemesis, probably a shutout incoming, I would guess. But
no.
Yeah. So anyway, look, they were home against San Jose, lost in overtime to a winless team. The Sharks are 0-5, very desperate. David Quinn comes back in the Garden, gets his first win as a Sharks coach against his former team. Chytil and Panarin scored in that game, but it was a tough one. And then home against Columbus. So 2 home games against 2 bottom feeder teams, 2 losses. This one in regulation, 5-1 to the Blue Jackets. Rangers had 31 shots on goal, but can only beat Daniil Tarasov once. So the Rangers currently outside the playoffs, looking in. Outside the top 3 in the Metro, only 1 point. The East is pretty bunched right now. But, also in those games, let's do a little injury report. Philip Chytil, concussed, out at least a week.
Surprise.
Might be placed on IR. Well, we'll get into it, Coach, but I don't think that was his fault or something you could chalk up to him being injury prone.
It didn't look like that bad of a play to me.
Well, I mean, he got a concussion, so it is what it is. But yeah. But I mean, look, let's talk quickly about this before we bring our guest on. Let's just talk quickly about a couple things. So, Coach, last episode you talked about Artemi Panarin. We were talking about leading the league in points and, giving you some crap, and you're like, oh, Panarin giving the puck away, not playing great. Didn't agree with you after those 4 games, but I do agree in these 2 games, especially versus San Jose. Panarin was not very good. What are your thoughts on Panarin in these 2 games versus the first 4? Did you see it get worse, or is that something you saw in the first 4 games?
I mean, I did see him dumping the puck in certain situations. I'm definitely not going to blame these 2 losses or overtime loss or whatever you want to call it on him. As a team, they were I just seemed like they were a little off. A little passing, a little off, everything a little off. I don't understand how they started off so hot, it looked like. And I think they just took a little reverse, 2 steps back.
Well, Coach, against San Jose, the overtime winner by Erik Karlsson, of all people, Little Ed's childhood hero. Panarin gets caught looking. It's overtime. It's 3-on-3 overtime. Guy standing there. Panarin standing in front of the net looking. If he goes to cover Carlson, that puck doesn't end up in the net most likely. That stood out to me. There were also a couple of bad turnovers in that game. And then against Columbus, you guys say this all the time. He's going to make mistakes, but when they glare, they glare. He gets the goal against Columbus, right?
Right.
But not a great game. Not a great game from Panarin. We need more stability. Little Ed, what do you think? Do you think I'm overreacting to the 2 games? Because I thought you guys or Coach had overreacted to the first 4.
But even that goal he got against Columbus, if you watch the goal, he was just like lollygagging over the blue line. He wasn't like putting this great effort in, and he went into the high slot. All of a sudden, the puck came loose, and he took off from. He was coasting into the zone.
Yeah, it was a cross-sized pass. He intercepted it and snapped it.
It's not like he was, making a move. It's kind of a gift.
As poor as he's playing, or as whatever you want to call it, without a lot of energy, he seems to be the only one getting any kind of offense going. Obviously he scored against Columbus, and he also had the one against San Jose. So I don't know. It's kind of like we always say, where it's hard to hate on him. He's obviously leading the league in points, or tied for the league in points, and he's going to keep producing. I wish he could focus a little bit more on defense. Hopefully he'll kind of progress in that department as the season goes on. But for now, we need someone to generate some offense. So if that means him taking a few more chances here and there, I think that's better off. And him, and along with the rest of the Rangers team, it seems like it's always an issue with them over the last couple of years, at least, or definitely last year, is they take some of these, like, call it bottom feeder teams very lightly, and they almost play down to their level. And I think that's a huge issue the Rangers have. And I'm not going to be surprised at all if they bounce back and have a really good game against Colorado tonight. So, it seems like they get more fired up for the bigger games. And that's something they definitely need to work on, because like we saw last year, every point matters. And if they want to win the division this year, they're going to have to beat up on some of these weaker teams, and not really make a statement. That's not what I'm trying to say, but just get those guaranteed 2 points. You kind of looked ahead at the schedule for the Rangers, and you didn't really expect them to have this record, or at least I didn't when I saw some of the teams that they were playing early on. So it is a little disappointing.
It's just insane, because the first few games, this looked like a team with an offense that was going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then how quickly that can change in 2 games, it changed completely in 2 games. Your third line center gets hurt. You're now down to center. The guys that were producing at ridiculous paces in the first 4 games, we mentioned it last episode, Coach, can Mika Zibanejad be consistent? Well, it's only 2 games. I'm not saying he's not going to be consistent, but 8 points in the first 4, 0 in these 2 losses, right? That's the story of Mika Zibanejad mostly in his career, is that he's very streaky. So let's see if he can get off the schneid here. I don't know. Little Ed, do you think Zibanejad's going to put one in tonight? Would you put the money on it if you were making the bet on FanDuel?
I actually did on DraftKings, not DraftKings. What the hell am I on? Caesars. So,
well, that's illegal in Florida, so I couldn't do it. But
yeah, I put for him and Laffy actually to score. I also might have put a few bucks on Hunt, so just as a safety net.
Hunt's for sure going to score. They're going to put
100%.
He's going to put him out with McKinnon in a few shifts just to try to get him a goal.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So
that's going to happen. But
to me, in these 2 abysmal games, you'll hear a lot of quote unquote experts say all the time, a good offense starts in the defensive zone, and they were just horrible getting the pucks out, drop hit. And again, one thing that I must have read it in a chapter of a book somewhere along the line, but the drop passes in the offensive zone above the circle, they're giving pucks away every game, multiple times. You can't do that. You could talk about Halak backing up, but he stops Gaudreau on a breakaway. Those 2 goals he could have saved, but the Rangers got to put pucks in the net on a rookie goalie. You want to blame a backup goalie. I'm sure some people were saying that on Instagram or whatever. They gotta beat Columbus, man.
Coach doesn't need social media because he already knows what's on it.
So. Oh, I know, because I'm listening to sports radio, and there were people saying that the Yankees would have made the playoffs without Aaron Judge. These are the type of people on social media. So
Pretty much nailed it on the head there, without a doubt. So,
but I'm just those are the things that frustrate me watching when I'm seeing those. I'm seeing those consistent plays that shouldn't be made, especially when you're in a slump somewhat. When the goalie's making these saves on, keep it simple, get it to the net, get rebounds. I don't remember seeing a lot of rebound shots against Columbus. The Sharks, the same thing. Wasn't a lot going on.
That's the biggest thing is, they play down to their team's level. They think they can get away with more of the cute passes or like the different passes, and they're just not getting away with them because, like you said, Pop's favorite quote is the other team's trying to win too, especially the team like the Sharks. These guys are playing for jobs, for contracts, for not to get traded or to get traded. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're playing hockey and they're trying to beat the Rangers just as bad or probably even more than the Rangers are trying to beat them, unfortunately. And that's what they need to change. Like you said, just get pucks on net. I mean, I say it to our kids now, Stony Brook. I say it to my men's league team. Just get the puck on net. Like these goalies aren't invincible except for Igor, hopefully.
You got to keep it. You got to start not in 100% playoff mode, but you got to be gearing towards that and be used to it. And like you said before, they're trying to be too cute because they got away with it for 2 or 3 games, which was nice to watch. But I said it after those 3 games or 4 games, they still got to play a little more playoff hockey. There was no hitting in the Columbus game. Reeves had a couple. Trouba had a big bomb in front of the net after the guy got a rebound, not before he got the shot. There was no hitting. Kreider doesn't take the body at all. He's one of the strongest on the team. You see nothing. There was nothing going
especially
on.
Because I said last episode that he's been playing a lot bigger. He's playing more noticeable. And then as soon as I say that, he disappears.
This has been an episode of Coach Ed's Grind Your Gear.
Oh my God. Just to watch those 2 games.
Let's get the mood a little lighter and then we'll come back to the complaining after. So you fans, you might have noticed we didn't do a jersey number section in the beginning. That's because this is episode 78 and no Ranger has ever worn number 78. So rather than, discuss how back in the day in Coach Ed's era, nobody wore high numbers, as Coach was telling us before the episode. And that's why there is no number 78. We actually got a friend of ours to come on the show who's got a little bit of a jersey Instagram page you guys need to follow. His name is Oscar, and his Instagram is at Oscar SP. Well, I guess it's Oscars PSH. Instagram Oscars with an S PSH. Welcome, Oscar. Pro Stitch Hockey. What's up, Oscar?
What's going on, cousin Ed? What's up, boys?
How
you guys hear me?
Yeah,
perfectly
clear.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, boys.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Talk a little bit jerseys. It's a perfect episode for it. This is episode 78, and no Ranger has ever worn 78, as I was just telling the fans. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, this is exciting. I was just this morning catching up on some episodes. So I think my favorite segment is the Coach's Corner. Coach Ed.
Well, that's because you haven't heard the neighborhood one yet. We also have a Coach Ed's neighborhood, which is more of him, like Mr. Rogers, like getting the kids around and like telling a story. A little bit like that. That will be your favorite when you hear that one.
I like it. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I see you got the white Liberty behind you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to add. I mean, I love that jersey, but I don't think I've seen somebody with that jersey in a really long time. Maybe at the Garden, just like seeing a fan walk by or something. But
probably seen me with it on or something.
Yeah, exact
Yeah, no. So I guess Ed. Well, I mean, they call you Little Ed. I call you. I think I call you Cousin Ed. But yeah, Little Ed reached out. He's like, make sure you bring one of your favorite jerseys. So I figured, let me bring my the first Ranger jersey I ever got, and I got into the Rangers late. 98 was the first season. So watching Gretzky put on that white Liberty, that's what kind of hooked me into hockey and the Rangers as well as a street hockey player. So that's my first jersey, is my favorite jersey. And I was able to get it over the summer for, next to nothing. So
that's great, man. Yeah, that is a really sick jersey. So talk a little bit about your Instagram page. What exactly you doing on there? You selling jerseys? You making them? What are you doing?
Yeah, it's actually, I think tomorrow it hits the 1 year anniversary. So that page turns, turns one. And originally it just started kind of to showcase some of my Ranger jerseys that I have been collecting over the years, and some of them that I did myself. And a couple of people, reached out to me and say, hey, it's a pretty good job. You want to do my old starter? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Send it over. And then one after the other, after the other, after the other. And I officially turned this into a business a couple months ago. Got all the legal paperwork to get it going. So we're
That's
here
awesome.
and starting the business off. So
Nice.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So your jersey obsession, did it start with that White Liberty? Is that what started it? Or because it sounded like you just got that one recently though.
yeah, this one was recent. So I mean, I still have the original one that my parents got me. I think they got it from at like the children's place when I was a kid. And I remember my mom was telling, I was like, I need that. I need that. She was getting me the starter jacket and the matching hat to go to school. And I'm like, I need the jersey. And I saved that jersey. I kept it with me. So I'll probably give it to one of my daughters when they're a little older. But yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. And I've slowly kind of been collecting. It's an expensive hobby
Yeah.
that, probably 3 years ago, I finally was able to afford. Got my first gamer and all that. So it kind of took off where now it's like, all right, I can afford jerseys. I can splurge. I'm an adult now, so I don't mind spending the money.
And there's no fake jerseys in your collection, that's for sure.
No, not one. You know this. You know this.
Absolutely.
Not
Absolutely,
one
yeah.
fake jersey, but okay.
Not one.
Not
Yeah, I
one.
mean, I grew up working in the rink, so my first job was working Floyd Hall Arena in Montclair, New Jersey, and I got a job in the pro shop there too in the winter time. So I was learning about jerseys, and at the time, learning about the Reebok contract, and I was hooked. I got the employee discount, so I was getting my jerseys there, and then moved on to another pro shop working, through college, and learned how to do embroidery. And one of the teams that I worked for at the Ice Vault Arena in Wayne was the Jersey Hitmen, and learned how to do, some of their jerseys and embroidery. And one of the players that I got to know there was actually Connor Clifton, his family. The Clifton family. He's up. And now he's playing up in Boston. So, I got a Hitman jersey around here that I want to turn into a Connor Clifton, just to keep for the collection. But yeah, the passion slowly, grew, and the collection's probably growing a little faster than my wife would like me to. But
So how many are there?
personally, I did a count actually 2 weeks ago. I'm at about 110 jerseys right now. Yeah.
Oh
Wow.
my god.
Wow.
Yeah, and some that I'm actually like ready to like offload because I have no business, holding on to them. Like the first reverse retro that came out, I bought two on Adidas.com, and then when I found out they weren't in production anymore, I went out and I bought the rest of them from the rack. A couple local pro shops. So I ended up with 8. I don't need 8, so I'll probably be offloading some jerseys for the holidays. At a good deal.
And those are already stitched, or those are just blank right
Not
now?
yet. No, I have the kits. I have like a Fox kit, a Kreider kit, a Shesty kit that I was gonna do and make them, and I only ended up making one. It was a Panarin, and the rest I want to make, but I think I'll just probably sell them.
Oh, so you included that in your count. So like what's your personal count, like with stitching, players,
Oh,
the
so
whole
with
nine?
stitching, I'm probably at around 50 jerseys stitched that
Okay.
that are mine personally.
Right.
I haven't had any time to do my own. I'm really close to hitting 500
man.
jerseys,
You're
making
pumping them
500
out for
jerseys,
sure. Yeah.
this past
Yeah.
year. So it's I've had a majority of them. I mean, 90% of them have been Ranger jerseys.
So
So it's been pretty wild these past 6 months, to be honest.
Well,
I guess
kudos
one
to
thing
you
that
for doing something you love and taking off with it. That's great.
Yeah, I never thought this isn't my 9 to 5. I say this is my 5 to 9. That's supposed to be a hobby, and it just kind of blew up. And I've been getting jerseys left and right from fans from across New York, fans out in California. I've sent a couple jerseys up north to Canada as well. Some fans up there. So I've been really lucky to get to know a couple fans from across the world and do quality work that I hope they like, and they keep coming back for more. I hope.
Yeah, it's for sure quality work, and that's something you and I always joke about or send pictures to each other, like either a fake jersey or like a bonehead jersey at the Garden or whatever.
Oh my
So like I don't
God.
know, tell the fans like what separates you from I guess like the fake jerseys you get online, or I mean even like the real ones you get from like
Yeah.
Fanatics or NHL.com, even at the Garden. Like everyone right here behind me is my Lundqvist jersey that Oscar made for me. And I was this close to buying one at the Garden on Lundqvist night. And I messaged Oscar while I was in line with it in my hand with Cousin Ed and Coach Ed. And he talked me out of it. And it was probably the best decision I've made in a while. So yeah, so like that was long-winded, but yeah, so like what separates you from those guys?
Yeah, so I think the reason why I'm getting so many requests and why so many fans have reached out is because the quality at the Garden, it's all machine made, right? Over there it's all about everyone. It's an entertainment business, so people are there for for a show. So when you come in, you see the jerseys there; they look beautiful, all on the wall, and you just when you dig down deep into it, it's just the quality isn't there. Um, and some fans kind of picked up on that. And I don't know if last week you saw on Twitter, but Statboy Steven reposted a video that I had put on Instagram where I was in the store and I saw a Capo Caco nameplate falling off the jersey. So I took a video of it. I'm like, yeah, this is your MSG quality right here. Granted, not all the jerseys. I just so happened to see the jersey like through the window that the nameplate was falling off, and it was a Fanatics jersey, so they don't do them there at the Garden. But the inconsistency, right, and the quality that you see at the Garden isn't what the players wear. For example, the road jerseys. If you go to get a road jersey at the Garden, the blue that they use is like the old navy that hasn't been used in I don't even remember, maybe '07. That navy blue, as opposed to the blue that they use now on the road jersey, which is like vibrant and bright,
Yeah,
and you could
the
tell the
royal blue.
difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I try to stick with good quality kits from across different suppliers, and it's all hand sewn. No, nothing's machine made, and things just fall apart when they're made by the machine. So um, yeah,
Not made with love.
I think my quality is close to on ice. I would say. I would hope. I mean, you got to tell me what do you think about your Hank jersey?
I mean, I couldn't say anything better about it. I mean, I tell you all the time, I'm like afraid to wear it to the Garden. Like it's that nice. Like it's just, I mean, it's beautiful. Like I said, it was 100% like the real jersey. I mean, there was things on the jersey that I didn't even know were on a real jersey because you're just not used to seeing it. Remember, we had that conversation about the different letters and like the textures on the letters and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't see that unless you really look close on the player on the ice, and
Right.
unless you spend the big bucks online or whatever, you're not getting that. So
Yeah.
Well,
it's really funny.
Let me ask you this, Oscar. Some people say I have a jersey jinx because
You're the one who said it first.
No, I'm not. I'm not. But it just seems to be across sports too. Mets, Giants, Rangers. It's pretty bad. So when I get a jersey of a player within like 6 to 12 months, they get hurt or traded, they start slumping. And it could be any number of different factors. Now you could say that
it's not even a joke, Oscar.
No, I know it's not. I'm being serious, but you could chalk it up to a little bit of superstition, whatever. But
give the fans a few examples. We got to give them some examples to prove
I mean,
sure. Did you just get a Dryden Hunt jersey? Is that what happened?
no, but I got this jersey. And yeah, he got traded right away. That's one right there. Ryan McDonough, Bushnevich. I got a Bushnevich jersey from Coach Ed and Little Ed. He got traded. Jose Reyes left as a free agent. Eric Lindros got a concussion. Osi Umenyiora tore his Achilles. Johan Santana blew out his elbow. I got a million. The list will go on, right?
It's fun. Jeremy Shockey, I think at some point.
Jeremy Shockey. I got more. But just to keep this short, my question to you is, do you think you can break that? Do you think that you could stitch a jersey with enough love of a current Ranger that I will pay you for, and it will break that jinx and snap it? Because it isn't really fair that I don't go and buy jerseys of my favorite players. It's frustrating, right? Like I have to buy X players or it's a risk. So, nobody lets me buy a jersey. So my question is, number one, have you ever encountered a fan with a jersey jinx before? I don't know if you have. And number two, can you snap mine?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anybody with a jersey jinx. So, I mean, I wish I would have known about this before. I would have sent you a Nate McKinnon jersey or something. So, so you
Something
get a
would
little
happen tonight.
edge
No.
tonight here.
No, because then it would work in the reverse.
Yeah, that's no good.
He'd score 5 goals.
Send him a Chytil or a Kratzov.
No, no.
Coach Ed wants Kratzov out of here.
He wants to set it up so that the jinx continues. It has to. I want it to be a successful current Ranger with Little Ed's approval. If Oscar makes it, will it snap the jersey jinx?
No,
We'll see.
it's not Little Ed's approval. It's got to be a vote amongst the four.
No, Little
I'm
Ed is
not
the
letting you
commissioner.
get anything.
He's the commissioner of the
Jersey
jersey
jinx.
jinx.
I'll promise the group I won't send an Igor jersey. How about that?
Definitely
Yeah.
not.
We'll talk about that later. But do you think he could snap it?
I think we're gonna try. I'll
right.
definitely send you something. I don't think I'll tell you what it is. And then it'll just be sitting on your doorstep.
All right.
You know what? Even better, don't even open it for a week, and we'll see what happens to the team. Hopefully, everybody stays healthy, and everybody stays healthy. Then the jinx is.
Well, if I don't open it and the person does better, then it's going to become a thing where I can't open it. So that's gonna. I don't know. We'll see. All right.
Put a return label on it, please.
Yeah.
We'll work it out. But anyway, so what is your personal favorite jersey manufacturer? I know you mentioned Starters, but for the fans that are newer, younger fans, they might not recognize that name. But what your personal favorite jersey manufacturer? Who is it?
Yeah, no, it's got to be Starter. I mean, the just something about that material like that, it just pops in the light. You would see like the shiny material. I've got a bunch of the Liberty starters as well, and I've got a couple regular Ranger blue starter jerseys, and I just think that starter mesh is like by far one of the best quality that I've seen. Even the old CCM mesh jerseys, like those that were used, the Masca that were used to the 80s and the 90s. I like those too, but for me, I think the starter is by far. Granted, the new Adidas, I think Adidas did a great job. It's a shame to see them go in a couple seasons, but I still think for me, the starter mesh has been number one.
So when was Starter making the jerseys for the NHL? Was it the 90s, right?
Yeah,
I had the starter jacket, like you were talking about.
95, it was announced. 96, so 96, 97 was the first time we saw the starter in the league, and coincidentally, that was the season that we got our first third jersey. The Rangers in franchise history got their first, Liberty third jersey. So, yeah. So it hasn't really. It was 25 years now. Yeah, it's that we saw starter introduced in the league.
Yeah, and what other brands were making jerseys over the years? I know Reebok had it for a minute, right?
Yeah. So I guess
Reebok
for that
was a big
era, I can only think of starter, but then I think
CCM was after starter, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, they were before before the starter era, and then I think it was 99, 2000. We saw it was like this just random mix of companies because they were being, there was acquisitions, there was CCM came in, and then you saw Ranger jerseys with Coho.
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw Coho. Yeah,
I remember. And then at one point we had the pro player jerseys in 01 and 02 as well. I remember one of my favorite jersey scene was the Liberty on Theo Fleury with the pro player logo in the back. But yeah, that year it was like CCM, Coho, pro player. And then, when Reebok officially kind of took that contract in 07, that was, 06, 07, that was the last time we saw the Liberty jersey. And we saw Hank's rookie year, right? We saw him wear the Liberty for one season. And then Reebok took it up until we saw them come into the league in 2016, I believe, for Adidas. I think they've done a great job since.
That's one of the Hank bobbleheads.
Yeah, rookie year. Yeah,
love that.
I have that jersey, that Reebok jersey, from his rookie year. Not the authentic, not his game, but an authentic jersey from that year. I was looking for years, and met up with this thrifter who found it at a garage sale for $25,
Oh
and he
my
was asking
gosh.
$100 for it. And after I paid him, I was like, dude, I would have given you $400 for this thing. And he looked like he wanted to punch me in the face.
How did you know it was from that year?
25
Because it
bucks.
was Reebok.
Yeah, so I guess back in the day, you guys remember that old Reebok like logo? It was like they called it the vector logo. It was like the swoosh with the two
Yep.
slashes. Yeah. You know, I guess back in the day when they did kind of like a brand review, people maybe out in Europe didn't really know what that swoosh and that thing was. So we saw one year where they actually patched over it and they put, you know, in words Reebok, in the word Reebok. But yeah, that's how you know that year was that kind of swoosh. And every day, every tag should have a birthday on the inside, so you can look on the inside and see what year the jersey was made. I always look for that.
You should have had a
Cool.
little personal Oscar, like stitched on date or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's everyone's been saying, you know, like, hey, you tag your jerseys, and I should, because some people get gamers. I get gamers as well, and I get like the no names because I want an authentic made in Canada jersey. It's, you know, they'd never commercialize them, which is one of the biggest disgraces that I think Adidas did kind of do us dirty, where they didn't really put out, like Reebok did, the availability of made in Canada jerseys, on ice quality jerseys, which is probably why they're getting sued right now. There's two class action lawsuits right now against them because of their marketing, where they say this is on ice. You know, they strapped a fight strap on the back of an Adidas made in Indonesia, and they said, yeah, this is the same thing. It's by far nowhere near the same thing what the players are actually wearing on the ice. So somebody like me, you know, I'll get one of the gamers. You know, not all of them. I'll like, I got Dryden Hunts from last year, and that he played, I think he played like 2 games. And
Maybe you have a jersey jinx.
Yeah, it was immaculate, and I don't want to no offense to Dryden Hunt, but I didn't want a Dryden Hunt jersey, so, you know, I cleaned it off and made it a Trouba jersey. And yeah, not a lot of people agree with what I do with that, but, you know, some people do send me their gamers and say, hey, I got Patrick Nemeth jersey. I don't blame you for not wanting, you know, Patrick Nemeth jersey from last year, and they asked me to make, you know, whoever they want, but I should like tag it on the inside and say, yep, this was stitched and remade by me.
I agree. I think you should definitely do something like that.
Like the old Cosby tag, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, someone like that was here for a cup of coffee, with you could definitely just clean it up and start over. But if someone sends you like a Brian Leach jersey or something like that, I would hope you're gonna turn them away.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah, I have a long list of jersey fouls that I, you know, do's and don'ts that I follow, you know, religiously.
That's good, something to post sooner rather than later. So yeah, I mean, you talk a lot about Adidas. Who do you predict, or who do you think is going to come next? Who do you think is going to be the next manufacturer?
It's a great question. I mean, I really
it's hard to say. There's not many like popular companies or whatever you want to call it right now.
Yeah. And I mean, everybody's hoping it isn't, and it is Nike, because we've kind of seen Nike quality with the NFL jerseys. I've got somebody who sent me a beautiful authentic Manning jersey from his last season, and their quality department, just like the NHL store, you know, the quality isn't there. It isn't like the on-field, on ice quality. So I'm afraid if it is going to be Nike, the only thing, whoever does get that bid, I just hope they do allow fans to order like the on ice quality for us to really buy. You know, it's not going to be you know, cheap, but for collectors like me and people who appreciate a good quality jersey, I'd be willing to shell out the stupid amount of money for that, probably.
I'm sure you would. I see it all the time on your page. But well, you do a few like the Olympic jerseys, right? And like some of the World Juniors, they're Nike. So what's the quality like with those? I mean, what you're talking about, the made in Canada or on ice quality?
Yeah. Some of those, I haven't gotten an authentic one in my hands. That's actually a good point. I think you're gonna make me go out this week and get an authentic on ice.
Don't tell your wife. I don't need
Nike.
to be chased down on Instagram or anything.
I'll put it on the PayPal account or something so she doesn't see it.
Yeah,
but
cousin Ed gets in trouble for buying like a $6 figure on eBay.
The problem is my collection is not just jerseys. If I just collected like jerseys, I think I'd be okay, but I collect everything, as you can see behind me. So that's part of the issue, and that's like not even a quarter of my stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
I mean, I've got pucks too, but some unsigned like from the
cards.
season. So I'll love to go in the garden. I'll get like a blank puck from every single season. So I've got like a box of pucks going back to like the 2014 season. Just one puck from every season, whether it's the 85th anniversary, the 95th, or a Winter Classic. So one day I'll probably bust those out. Hopefully, maybe get an autograph from somebody from that era. But yeah, one day
Now,
that's a
now,
project.
now, if Nike makes the jerseys, they're going to be made in Canada.
Yeah, most likely that's where their facility is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't really looked into it too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a third party that they use that, I'll send you boys a video, but they actually filmed the time they made the Kraken jersey when they were unveiling the Seattle Kraken franchise. They actually filmed inside the plant that makes the Adidas jersey. It was probably one of the coolest things in the world. And then, coincidentally, they also filmed as well. Remember San Jose, the All-Star game with the plastic, the jerseys that were made out of plastic. Now they call them, the prime greens. But back then they were calling them the parlay jerseys. And I think that was the year Hank won the All-Star game. I think he was MVP that out there in San Jose. So yeah, I think you're right, Coach Ed. It would be made up in Canada, which is ridiculous because if you think of a USA jersey, right, you would hope a USA jersey is
Made in USA.
made in America, right? Made in the US. But that's not the case.
so Oscar, we wanted to talk to you also about the reverse retros. We haven't gotten into those yet. So I think we should talk about that. So the NHL just released, the 32 different reverse retro jerseys. ESPN actually had an article, I don't know if you saw, where they ranked all 32. Very, very poorly done by ESPN in their rankings, I must say. But let's talk about the Rangers. I know, like shocker. But let's talk about the Rangers one and other ones too, if you want. Like, so what do you think about the Rangers reverse retro? Compared to last year, but also just on its own. Like, what do you think of the jersey? Do you like it? Do you plan on getting one? And are you excited to see it?
Yeah, that's
Well, yeah, you might not. You might not like it, and I don't know how you are, man. You might not want to get a jersey you don't like. So
Yeah, no, I think the only jersey I don't have, I think Coach Ed's got one of them hanging. I think that's the original Espo from back in the day. But I think that when they brought that back when Mike Dunham was the goalie, I think that's the only jersey I don't have, only because I don't have a desire to spend money on that one. Although like a lot of people love that jersey back in the day.
I definitely love that jersey.
Well,
Yeah, it's a cool
I
jersey.
love when I was a kid when they were practicing in Long Beach and when they came out with that jersey. I just loved the font. I loved everything about it. I loved the emblem itself. So when they put that on the jersey, I thought it was pretty cool. And they ended up being successful with that jersey. So it's a little memory of mine back in '78.
It was different, right? Because I mean, for 100 years now, the only thing we've ever seen is that diagonal, Rangers, whether it's going down or across, that's all we know. It's like kind of like the Yankee jersey, the pinstripes and the Yankee logo.
And
nothing else to it.
Winter
right?
Classic one.
Yeah, I mean that Winter Classic too from 2018. I think that's one of the nicest jerseys. The Rangers, that and the Heritage jersey are.
But you had
to
see,
but that was different. That's not the original emblem. I think the Rangers might be the only team. I don't know. Is there another team that doesn't have their actual emblem on the jersey? Their actual logo?
Yeah,
I know some road jerseys they have, like Colorado. Sometimes they do the lettering,
Canes and stuff like that.
Right. But I think every team has the logo on the jersey. So when you see that, it's kind of cool. As a Rangers fan, we don't really get it. I like the jersey too. I think it's a cool jersey.
Back in '78, when that happened, there was a very big controversy because the Rangers were they were traditional classic and Ferguson changed it, and it was a big controversy.
That's right. Yeah. It was 76, 77. They unveiled that.
Yeah.
And
back when Twitter didn't exist.
77, 78 was the last season of it.
And to me, when I had to get a jersey back then, it was either Cosby's, which was a fortune at the time. The only place you can get a good stick or a good jersey or any really good equipment. There was no internet, obviously, so pro shops were few and far between on the island in the 70s. It was either Cosby's in the city. When I went to the Garden, I used to try to get a stick if I had enough money. At the times, like $35. What is it now, Ed, for a Bauer?
450.
Yeah, like a premium
$450.
Sherwood
Yep.
pro player stick was like $35, $38.
And you had to go barefoot in the snow, take
And
the
you had
train.
to and you had to carry it all game. You had to bring it into the Garden, hold it,
Oh my God, that's awful. Hopefully
That
you have
sounds
more
like the
space.
worst part.
and then
Yeah,
when the
hopefully you have more
Rangers
space in the seats because you
And
can't
it
even
was
put
a
a
wood stick.
bobblehead down.
and it was a heavy wood stick.
Oh jeez.
And then when they started practicing in Long Beach, all seasons opened up, and that's where I got my what do you want to call that jersey in 77? They stitched all that on for me. That was the only place around that would like make a jersey.
So is that your original one? Is that one from the
No,
70s
that
you
one
got?
is the one Eddie got me, but I have one
That
with
one
my
I
name.
found on eBay for a good deal. He does have his original.
I have
He
this
held
one.
it up in the last episode.
Look at that.
With his own name on it.
His own name on it. Well, Uncle Pat had the matching one, which you have framed behind you.
Yeah, I have it in a shadow box.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
to get
so-
that jersey, I remember we bought the jersey, like you said, in like I want to say Models with no name or anything, and took it there, and they put the name and number on it.
That's good. That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, and to get back to
The reverse
the
retro.
point of the reverse retro, right? I mean, I think the new one that was probably the worst kept secret. We all knew it was going to be the Liberty, right? They just didn't know if there was, going to be the same dark navy, that we saw, a couple seasons ago, and then they kind of leaked through. There it is.
Matching.
Nice little show and tell. Love that.
Yep. Well, we're on YouTube now, so we gotta do as
Oh
much as we
yeah.
can.
Yeah, I got to
Yeah.
show it off. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
I should have done a little hair and makeup if I knew I was going to be on, plastered on YouTube here, But
None of us did. Don't worry.
yeah. But the new reverse retro, I think it's gonna. I mean, a lot of people were like, "Oh, why would you do the blue? Why wouldn't you go to the navy? If it ain't broke, don't fix it." Right? That's kind of the mentality. But I think once we see it on the Garden against the Bruins on the 3rd, you see, Mika streaking down the ice in that thing. Everyone's gonna be like, "All right, I gotta get a reverse retro." I mean, that's probably gonna be the first one I'm gonna do.
Well, here's ESPN's ranking for the Rangers, 16th out of 32, so right smack in the middle. The whole thing honestly feels like one of those sweatshirts that costs $50 more than it should and hangs untouched with its friends in some distant corner of the NHL store. That's
Yeah.
Who wrote that?
It's pretty accurate.
ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN is an ESPN article. Greg Wyshynski,
Yeah, I mean, I think
ranked
it's
number
definitely one of
1,
those
Florida
things.
Panthers.
Wow.
I can't disagree too far from that, but we'll get to that a little later. Yeah, I mean, Oscar and I have had a conversation or two about it. I mean, I'm not thrilled or wasn't thrilled when I first saw it. I'm sure it's going to be one of those things that grows on me. I mean, I wasn't too excited about last year's either, but it ended up growing on me. I mean, I think they could have had a little bit more color, a little bit more red on it last year. But this year, I mean, I don't know, man. Something about the Navy and the Royal Blue or the Rangers Blue, whatever you want to call it, it just clashes with me for some reason. But I don't know, maybe when I see the whole uniform, like with the pants, you know what color pants they're wearing? Did they even unveil like all that stuff?
I didn't see. I wouldn't be surprised if it's red. I mean,
They have to wear the same pants.
Just the
They
regular
can't change
pants.
that.
Yeah. So then I don't know. I think it's just gonna look weird. And then with the royal gloves, the navy sleeves, then they'll probably wear a navy helmet. It's just gonna be a lot. But we'll see. I mean, they obviously
I
spent a
think
lot
they've
of
been
time
wearing the
doing it,
helmet
so-
in practice. I think they've been wearing
It
the
was a
reverse
navy
color.
helmet.
Yeah, no, it's going to be royal. It's a royal.
Why
blue.
would it be a navy helmet?
Yeah, it's
They
royal
like
blue.
they have a little bit of navy on the sleeves and the logo, so I thought maybe they were going to try to incorporate that. I'm sure they have a little
Break
bit
it
of
up.
navy on the socks.
Well, I don't really
Yeah.
like navy for the Rangers. I just don't think the Rangers are a royal blue. That's their
Right.
color, So I don't mind the royal
They
blue, but
introduced it with the Liberty and
I don't really.
97.
Yeah, I like the Liberty for nostalgia, but I always prefer the royal blue to the navy blue at the Rangers. But what I do like, what I don't like is what you're saying. If you're going to do royal blue, then they should have just taken the navy off the sleeve because it doesn't
Right.
match. It doesn't mesh well with the royal blue. I agree with that. So I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. But Oscar's still going to get one. So He's still gonna get one. But
That might
so
be
take
what's
the
showing up
plunger.
on your doorstep.
So what about compared to last year's though? Because last year it was the same logo, obviously, same Liberty jersey, but they took off the red, right? There was less red. I think did they take it off the sleeves, Ed? What was different about it? I forgot.
Like the
I thought
bottom,
it-
like
they
see
took off the
Coach
bottom.
Ed's behind you. The whole bottom half of the sleeve was red. On the last year's reverse retro, it was just the kind of like the 2 pinstripes on the sleeve, right?
Right.
Yeah,
They
if you want,
they
if
took
you want,
that
I'll
off.
grab it. I'll grab it real quick. I got it right behind me.
Sure,
Yeah,
if you
grab
want
it.
to.
Yeah.
Might as well. Oh, you got his whole setup with all the stitching back there. That's pretty cool.
All the thread.
Yeah.
Yeah, little Ed's taking pictures for his own setup at home now. He's gonna
Yeah,
start stitching
no,
jerseys.
No, that's my buddy Harry's department for our cornhole business.
I'm
stitching the
hoping
bags.
I'm hoping he can break the jersey jinx, guys.
I really like that idea of you not opening the box though.
All right. Sorry. Here we go.
To test it, so there's no like my juju doesn't get mixed in.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it.
So this was the 1.0, right? Reverse retro 1.0, where it was like the sleeves were just like
Yeah, they
piping,
could have done
right?
a little thicker at least.
Right.
Kind of the thickness of like the regular jerseys would have been a little bit nicer. Or like I said, even the whole bottom half of the sleeve, something on the bottom half of the jersey.
Yeah, nothing at the bottom of the
Something.
jersey, right?
Yeah. My first
I-
thought when I saw that one was it looks like a practice jersey. You know, so who's on
Yeah.
the back of that one? Anybody, or is that just a blank for now?
Yeah, it wasn't, the original one where
Oh,
the
that's
original
see, that's
sleeves
just
were
yeah,
red
so
at the
much
bottom.
nicer.
That was,
Yeah.
that's that everybody loved that one feature, that one kind of detail from the
Yeah.
starter jerseys from
I
back
think
in the
I
day.
have that jersey. It's Messier.
Yeah, this is
I have
I
the-
made this one my Messier jersey, so
I
you'll
have
see me
mine, but
wearing that guard.
I was afraid to bring it out because I was told that he would rip on me if it wasn't authentic, and I don't even know if it is. So I left it in the closet.
Well, I mean, if this jersey jinx is real, oh, is it fake?
No, I don't know. I gotta look at it.
Oh,
I'll send you a picture of it.
I
later.
told you rip on him if you brought on any fake jerseys onto the episode. So
So
I know
it's-
you will.
I
so yeah,
intimidated him.
that one I think I got after the fact, after he retired. So that one isn't part of the jersey jinx.
No,
but,
no jinx. Good.
Yeah.
no jinx on that one.
But no,
But-
I think this one's going to be really sharp. It's going to be nice. I mean, I can't wait. I felt the same way when the 1.0 came out. I was like, I wish it was kind of looking like the old one. But I think people are going to love it. I'm going to love it. I'm going to buy it anyway. So
Who are you
Well,
gonna put on? Who's gonna be your first one? First stitched.
what's that?
Who's gonna be like your first player that you stitch on for yourself at least?
Oh, Mika. Yeah, I
Alright.
think Mika's going to be on the new reverse retro. But I mean, I don't want to get too ahead, but I think, we have to think about in a couple of years for the centennial year. That's going to be, a big jersey, a big decision the Rangers are going to have to make for the 100th anniversary. So
Which
I'm
year is
hoping
that
they
going to be?
go all out.
26?
What's that?
What year will that be? 26? 25?
I think that's 2026, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so, right?
1926 was the first year, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think that sounds right.
I hope they go all out. I hope the original 6 go all out for that.
Yeah,
You
I'm
You think
sure.
they're gonna continue doing a reverse retro every year?
Well, I hope so. Anything to
Or
make the
the new
salary cap go
manufacturer
up.
might the new manufacturer might come up with something new.
Listen, if
Yeah.
it pumps out jersey sales, it raises the salary cap. I'm all for it, dude. Keep coming out with jerseys. I don't care.
Yeah. Someone's got to pay Panarin's salary.
Yeah,
right?
and we need to sign all these guys. So come out with new jerseys every year. I don't care.
Yeah,
Um,
no. I'm excited to hear your take with the the salary cap going up hopefully by 4 million. So I'm excited to hear your take on that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I mean, I think it's good to split the increase in the cap over a period of years instead of all at once. It allows teams a buffer to sign guys. So hopefully
Yeah.
we can keep everyone together with that 4 mil bump. I hope it actually happens. It looks like it's going to, which might be a saving grace for the Rangers. Because otherwise they're gonna have to dump somebody. It's just not gonna-
Well,
not
hang
gonna
on. I hope they don't dump anybody because I know we got Shattenkirk, Girardi, and D'Angelo buyouts are done this year, right? So we've got a little more money to spend on guys, right?
It's not as much as you think though, because you got Chytil, Lafreniere, and Miller are restricted free agents. The 3 of them together could be close to 15 million, 14 million. It depends on what they want and what the Rangers are willing to pay. That in and of itself takes up almost all of their salary cap space. So
no Miller jersey just yet.
well, Miller, I don't think there's any chance that Miller's gone. I think they're going to pay him as much as they can for
God, I hope so.
for as long as they can, as little as they can for as long as they can. So
Hope so.
we'll see when it's officially announced. We'll do a little episode on the, looking forward. I think when I do that during the season, people get a little bit like, come on, they're playing games right now, so we try to focus on this season during the season, and then I'll bore everybody with the cap near the end of the season. But yeah, so all right, let's bring out our favorite jerseys. So did we do it already? I feel like we kind of did.
I got one more question before we move on to that. Will the Rangers do a ad sponsor on the jersey ever?
God, I hope not. I mean, what was it? I think when they announced it, they said, you can have, it was like 3.5 inches wide of a patch on only allowed on the right chest, I think it was. And
it would just be so awkward with the R right there.
You can't do it. Yeah, you absolutely can't do it unless you fit like an awkward Chase logo in there, which I really hope they don't do.
Well, the Leafs did it, and they're a traditional franchise, right?
Yeah.
So
But they don't have anything like the Rangers starts like right there, so it'd be tough to squeeze it in on the shoulder or like right above it. It would look very bad. So
I hope not. But I mean, Dolan's gonna do what Dolan's gonna do, right? It's the old Dolan tax. Whatever makes him money.
Well, it's all gonna come down to
done
money
it already, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it's up to Dolan,
it hasn't happened yet.
If it's up to Dolan solely, I don't think it'll happen. I think he's probably like, I'm not doing that. He seems like a blustering guy.
Hope so. If that's true, I'll never say it. I'll never say anything bad about Dolan ever again. Ever.
Don't worry, I'll say enough bad
cares
things.
About.
Don't touch the jersey, and I will ever badmouth you.
I'll say enough bad things for both of us. Don't worry. But all right, let's bring out our favorite jerseys real quick. So is yours the Liberty behind you? Did we do it already? I feel like we all kind of did it.
Everybody but you did.
No, I don't think Little Ed did. You brought the long.
I got mine hanging behind me, so this is the one.
Oh wow. Feel honored.
This is the one that Oscar stitched for me. I figured since he's here.
What's that patch?
Show it off.
What's that patch on the shoulder? Lundqvist
What do you mean? What's that patch?
He even did the Lundqvist retirement night patch for me. And,
nice, man.
Which they didn't even have on the jerseys at the Garden that night, which I thought was ridiculous. So as you can see, I mean, got the fight strap, everything. The numbers are nice and crisp.
That's I might have to get
thing. Like you could just, tell. Like the numbers are just, it's so different.
Yeah, that is sick.
It's just something else. And one of the things that I didn't notice was the laces. Like if you buy the laces in a store or something, they're very different. And I didn't notice that on the players until Oscar hooked me up. And established 1926. So 2026 will be the centennial year.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did it come with a lock of Hank's hair?
I don't think Oscar has those connects, but
you have to get
sold out.
He's got it in a Lundqvist kit behind him.
You have to get a game one jersey.
Yeah. So there it is. It's beautiful. I'm afraid to wear it, so we'll see. And
so I brought out this one. I showed you guys already, but it's my McDonough jersey, and there's a reason that this is my favorite. It's not because McDonough is my favorite or anything. I think this is authentic.
Nope.
No, it's not.
Nope. Not even close.
It says Adidas. So I don't know. I'll let Oscar tell me.
Why is there an extra S at the end of Adidas?
He just said no.
So the reason it's my favorite jersey is the story behind it. Right before the Rangers traded McDonough, for Christmas, I told my dad that I wanted an Alexei Kovalev jersey. So he went on and he ordered it probably from one of those Chinese websites. He orders an Alexei Kovalev jersey for me, and they send me a McDonough because he's 27. So they sent. I didn't even ask for it. So when I got the jersey, I was like, oh, I got a McDonough jersey, and my dad's like, did you get the jersey? And I was like, did you send me a McDonough jersey? And he was like, no, it's Kovalev. And I was like, no, dude, it's McDonough. And then literally the trade deadline was like 5 days away, and they traded it. And
that is why it's real curse.
And I was just like, dude, I mean, they'd already said the rumors they were going to trade him and stuff. So I wouldn't have chosen the jersey, but yeah, it was just kind of like, damn, it sucks. But
So the bottom line is the Chinese jersey companies control the trades.
yeah,
Is this
so
true?
they
It could
didn't
be
send
possible.
me Kovalev. I still want a Kovalev jersey. I have to get a starter though if I get Kovalev.
We'll make
right?
we'll make you a legit starter, Colby, or maybe we'll make you a CCM Stanley Cup final one. I'm
Oh,
sure
that'd
that'll
be
be
sick.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. And I'll order one of those 94 patches too to put on it.
I've,
think
I've got
Oscar will
plenty
hook you
here.
up.
Don't worry, I'll take care of you.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it. So yeah, for now, that one's mine until Oscar sends me my Kovalev. What about you,
All right.
Mikey?
Got the my first jersey ever.
Mess.
Nice. I
Is
like
that
the
one
white.
real,
I want it-
Oscar?
I actually think this is real. This has got to be real.
That's a CCM.
Yeah, it's a CCM.
Let
That's
me
good.
see the shoulders again.
You got to go in closer for Oscar to see.
Yeah, zoom in on the nameplate. Oscar, I
Yeah.
meant to ask you.
I don't know about
before.
those stripes up on the shoulders, Oscar.
Uh-oh.
Is that
Let's see
authentic
it,
with
Mikey.
those stripes?
Let's see it, Mikey.
Absolutely.
Get up close. I think he's got a legit jersey.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, I meant to ask you before, Oscar. I mean, what's the difference? I know obviously you do nameplates, the players wear nameplates, but some jerseys, like the letters themselves, are stitched. Why? Like,
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
what's the reasoning? I mean, obviously it's a lot easier to just put a nameplate on, but like, what's the other like benefit, or what's the reasoning behind that? Because I feel like it's nicer almost without the nameplate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, what you get at the Garden, like it's literally machine made. If you ever open it up on the inside and you'll see like the backing, you'll see like white, it kind of looks like white paper, white cardboard on the inside. It's just those are put on a hoop and they're placed on an embroidery machine. There's a file that just boom, 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 boom makes it. And it's just like it's literally coming off a line. Like it's like, you know, it's all about profits, right? How quick can you make the jersey? How cheap can you make it, and how fast can you sell it? As opposed to the Ranger jerseys, which are hand sewn, arena wear up in I think they're in Mamaroneck now. Make the jerseys, they sew the nameplate first, they slap it on the jersey. They do what they call serging around the border. So if you look on your Hank jersey, you see like a little border stitching, right? They call that serging, and that's what I do as well for all the kits. I don't just slap the name bar on the back of the jersey. I actually pay attention to that detail because I want you to get as close to on ice quality as I can give you. That's the only reason why I started buying gamers, because I wanted to match and see what the Rangers are wearing on the ice. So this way I can give you that same product, same quality. But yeah, no, that's all machine made versus what you've got there, Ed, and what the players wear, which is handmade, handmade quality.
Can't say enough good things about it. It really just is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, man.
It looks really nice. The detail looks awesome. I'm excited for mine.
You could tell. I mean, people think you can't tell, or it's like, oh, it's not overrated. That's the wrong word, but you know what I'm trying to say. And like, you
can
just
appreciate
hold this
a good jersey, right?
You could just hold it, that one, compared to one at the Garden or at Modell's or at any of these other stores. Like, you look at those jerseys in the store, and yeah, they look beautiful too. But once you hold this one, it's like you could just tell. It almost feels like heavier too, a little bit. Like, it's just the letters are nicer, the quality of the stitching, and just the quality of the letters itself too. It's just different.
Yeah. The size,
Coach-
the size of the letters too are a little bigger, right, on the name bars than it is what you're getting at the Garden. Right.
Exactly.
And Coach, your favorite one is the Espo?
Yeah, by far. I mean, I was 12, 13 years old when they traded for Espo, and he became my instant favorite. And I used to emulate him when I was playing at the face-off and the whole thing when I was a kid.
Is that authentic though?
I don't know. Eddie got
He
it.
said he got it on eBay, so it could
I'd
be.
have
Eddie-
to take a look. I don't think it's like authentic from the 70s. I think it's like one of the vintage ones that they like remade or whatever. So I guess it's, if you want to look at it that way, it's not authentic, but the stitching and everything and the numbers all look, it's not like ironed on or anything like that.
Look,
a
yeah,
quick
and-
story. Originally I got him just a blank one, and I was going to get Esposito on it, and then that was the year that the Rangers brought it back, and then I ended up putting Leach on it. So then I wore the Leach one to the Garden, and I met Adam Graves in the elevator, and he signed my Brian Leach jersey. So now so I didn't have anything else for him to sign, and like I was like, "You got to sign something. I'm sorry." Like he's like, "No, you kidding me? He's one of my best friends," and he signed the number 2, Adam Graves.
That's
So now
hilarious.
I have that frame downstairs, and then I felt bad, and years later I ended up finding that one on eBay because I stole his jersey to put Leach on it.
Yeah, so I
Probably-
got screwed out of that one.
No,
he
it's
probably
nice. I
called.
think
He
that
probably
was a
called Leach
legit
and told
one.
him. I bet you he called Leach and told that story. Just like
Yeah.
I just signed your jersey.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
owe me
me-
$50. I just signed one of your jerseys.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Casey were pretty little. We had a few cocktails and we're walking into the elevator, and Adam Graves, the doors open, Adam Graves is standing there, and I was just like, oh my God. It was wild.
How
Yeah.
funny would it have been if he signed it as Brian Leach?
Well, I do have Graves' signature on his banner, and
To
it
compare.
matches. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think he signed Graves, but
Nice.
yeah, it's definitely a story, and it'll be framed forever.
That's awesome.
Nice. This was fun, man. I'm looking
This is a
forward
great
to.
time. I could talk about this all night, man, but we gotta move
Yeah,
on.
I
to
mean,
the
you
rest
and
of our
I-
episode.
Yeah, you and I
Yeah.
go back and forth about jerseys, and I think ultimately, I think what I told you, I was like, look, I know we like to knock on those knockoff jerseys from China, and at the end of the day, if it makes you happy, that's the Ranger jersey that makes you happy that you're proud to wear to the Garden. Wear the shit out of it. Honestly, like
And what you can
you know,
afford. And
who
all
are we?
those-
Yeah, exactly. Like who are we to judge? If it makes you happy, swear it. But there's people out there like you and me that can appreciate a good, quality jersey that's going to last in our
Absolutely.
collection. Like how long is that Hank jersey going to last in your collection? Forever.
Forever, I would imagine. I mean, who am I going to sell it to? So,
Yeah.
God forbid something happens to it. I mean, other than that, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
Yeah, dude, thanks for coming on. Again, Oscars Pro Stitch Hockey, Instagram at Oscars PSH, Instagram at Oscars PSH. Looking forward
Boys.
to it, man.
Thank you guys. This was so
You're
much
very
fun. I
welcome.
can't believe I got the invite. So
We
I'll
gotta
be-
get
I'll be in
together.
touch. Don't worry.
Yeah, we got to get together at a game.
we will
yeah.
for sure.
I mean, I'll be there for the Bruins game when they unveil the new Liberty. So if you guys come by, let me
Mikey
know.
will
We'll
be
link up
there.
for a beer.
I'll see you there.
Yeah, Mikey, I'll see you there, man.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
for sure.
Thanks, boys.
Oscar.
All right, Oscar. Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
go
brother.
Rangers.
Nice
You got
meeting
anything
you.
else
All
you want
right.
to plug before we go? You
What's
taking
that?
anything else you want to plug before you sign off? We didn't give you a chance.
Yeah, if you don't mind. Yeah, I'm actually working on a small
course.
project, small pod myself, to kind of get, because there's more people like me out there that, service. Like for me, I love meeting and servicing the Ranger community, but there's other people like me out there for like Bruins jerseys, Sharks jerseys. So I've been working on a little project to talk to the other pro stitchers and makers of the world. So I'm starting a little pod. Hopefully, I know I wanted to call it the Jersey Boys pod, but I don't want to get sued by Frankie Valley. So we'll see what legal allows me to do. But I'm working on a
Just
small
spell it
project.
differently or something.
Yeah, spell it
B-O-
EE at the end or
B-O-I-
something.
Jersey with a Z
B-O-I-Z.
or something.
Yeah,
like
take
that,
legal advice from Little Ed and Coach Ed. That's what you should do.
Well, cousin, you
Just
could-
do it.
Yeah.
right?
It's easier to
Yeah.
apologize after than ask for permission.
Yeah, right. It's better to ask for forgiveness than
Yeah.
for
Now
permission. But
you could be creative and figure out a name. You'll be all right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that sounds cool. So what are you gonna do? Like host it with other people or just have guests on from other?
Yeah,
other
it's going to be a bunch
stitchers?
of interviews. Yeah, a bunch of
Nice.
interviews because there's some really like talented people out there. Like I know Coach Ed. I don't know if you saw the Mets jersey I did for Foxy.
I sent it to them. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's other people like that out there, like some folks up in Boston, out in LA. Hopefully I'll make it out to San Jose and meet somebody out there who does, San Jose jersey. So I really want to get this community of jersey collectors and jersey makers, put it on a pod and have everybody talk about it. Cause I'm sure there's some great stories and great creativity out there that I think you guys would really appreciate.
Yeah.
Nice,
You're doing a
good
great
stuff.
job.
Yeah, cool. So look out for that. We'll definitely post it on Instagram once you got it all set up and everything, and share it with our followers. Definitely sounds interesting and awesome, dude. So
Keep
congrats on
an
that
eye
as well.
out for an original Espo jersey for me.
You got it.
All right, man.
right,
Thanks for
Oscar.
coming
Have
on.
a good night, bud.
All
Good night,
right,
boys.
Oscar.
Have a good night,
See
buddy.
ya.
Thank you.
See you, bud. Wow, that was
I coulda-
awesome.
Yeah, I could have talked to him for hours. He was I
Yeah.
couldn't believe he knew the years like from each jersey they wore. Like I don't even think unless he had it next to him or something, he didn't even have to look it up. He knew exactly when each one was and stuff. That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you just go through his Instagram and he's got some really cool jerseys that he makes. It's not, he makes the standard ones as well, like the regular if you just want a regular jersey, but I see on here talking about Kovalev, he's got the Zubov 94 patch on there.
Yep.
That's a sick jersey. He's got some baseball jerseys too. If you guys like the Yankees or the Mets, he could probably do that for you. Definitely really, really cool. And really, I'm looking forward to his podcast too. Honestly, I think that's going to be a great endeavor. I encourage everyone to do podcasts, share the wealth, share the listeners. I listen to podcasts. I do a podcast. It's everybody's on the podcast train. So welcome aboard.
Absolutely. Yeah, he also does I saw recently he posted that he's going to do Hockey Fights cancer jerseys this year, and all of his profits he's going to donate directly to Garden of Dreams and Hockey Fights Cancer. So I thought that was really cool. Obviously, he's taking orders for the new reverse retro. He mentioned in the interview that he has about 8 original reverse retros that he's has up for grabs. So hey, hit him up.
This is what we're gonna do. By the way, this is what we're gonna do. I just thought of this. So this is the arrangement. You are Little Ed, the commissioner. The three of you will discuss what jersey to get. The rules are this: it can't be a prospect who hasn't earned his keep yet. It has to be a risk. The player you select has to be one that is integral to the Rangers, and it's a risk. Okay. You
All right.
order the jersey for me from Oscar. Give him my address. I will send Oscar the money. I'll pay for it. You don't have to pay for it. I'll pay for the jersey. He'll ship it. I won't open it. And then you guys don't tell me who it is, and we'll just let it ride for X amount of time. We'll pick a period of time. And like Coach said, we'll just leave it there. We'll let it ride. And if something bad happens, then we know that it is just my presence near the jersey and not like my knowledge of who it is. So we'll start at that and we'll build into me wearing the jersey and hopefully.
So hopefully we have to pick someone who we really don't care if they lose, who is a prominent player.
It has to like you're saying like Chytil or Kravtsov. I mean the Kravtsov. Those are developing young guys. I mean it's too risky. Like those guys could bust, and then you could be like, oh, you have a jersey jinx. Like it has to be someone that we can identify if it's actually a jersey jinx based on their success currently, in my opinion. Otherwise, it's kind of dull.
All right, we're gonna have to think about this.
You guys will discuss it, but I think
I said,
it's an interesting thing. We can break the jinx
off the Rangers right now. Who's prominent?
The problem is that if it works, then I'm only going to be able to get jerseys from Oscar. So he better never close his shop.
I don't think he's going to close his shop anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Chytil, since Coach Ed wants me to go with the Chytil jersey, Chytil, we mentioned this before, was concussed. Coach, I wanted to just retouch on this because you said earlier it didn't look like that much to you. I thought that was like a very subtle, dirty play by Sillinger. I mean,
I thought so too, for sure.
You didn't think so? You thought it was not much? I mean, he clipped him right in the jaw with his elbow as he skated by him.
I didn't see that at all. I saw Chytil kind of turn, not being aware that there was another player coming, and it was kind of an incidental collision. I didn't see his arm go up. I didn't see anything where he was elbowing him.
So you agree with Micheletti? See, for me, I looked at it differently because there's been time. Look, there's times where you do that on the ice. Where I would skate by a player and you slash them in the back of the knee or clip them, pick them when they're not paying attention, not to injure. I'm not saying you intend to injure Chytil, but it's definitely a little bit of a chippy play. I mean, Sillinger's coming in, he looks right at Chytil.
Well, there were a lot of plays I saw multiple times. I see Trouba doing it a lot in our zone, where you kind of set a pick, you get in the way. They do it when they're cycling a lot. When they're cycling up at the blue line, down along the wall, a guy will set a pick. So I kind of think that's what it was. He was skating by him so that the defenseman was going to get a little more time and space, as they always talk about.
Right.
And at that moment, Chytil turned to go the other way, and to me, kind of just caught his arm. I didn't see him stick his arm out His elbow didn't go out. He was holding his stick, skating by, kind of setting that pick. So I'm calling it a hockey move that a lot of players do. It happens multiple times in the course of a game. And Chytil's just soft.
I, well, I don't agree with the last. Well, I do agree with the last part, but that's not what I was going to say. I agree that it's definitely a hockey play. I mean, everyone does it. You try and set a small pick. When I said it was intentional, I meant it. It definitely was intentional, but I don't think his intent was to injure him.
Me either.
So, I mean,
No, I
could the
agree with
referee have called something, an interference or something like that? Definitely. I mean, especially in today's game, they call that shit all the time. So I don't know why they didn't. He must have just missed it, which we go through in our Stony Brook games. I almost got kicked out of our game the other day because of something like that. Where it's just like a blatant play like that. I don't really understand how the referee misses it. So yeah, I mean, I hope he recovers quickly. I hope it doesn't really affect him because, I mean, as usual, he was kind of like on the upswing and then he gets hurt and it kind of sets him back for a little while. So
Yeah, on the
hopefully it's-
upswing. Speaking of which, Rangers game against the Sharks. I mean, he was the only player on the team that played well. He ends up getting the second star of the game. His goal, you call him soft. His goal was him out muscling Luke Kunin for the puck, who's a big player. Out muscles him, comes in and snipes a goal. I get no texts from anybody. Nobody says, "Hey, what is snipe by Chytil? Great play." Nobody gets excited. I'm sure
Yeah,
all
Eddie-
of you just.
Eddie texted Heats.
Eddie said that he had an excuse. He's the only one who responded with an excuse, and it was.
and I also
it was a
said
valid
Heats.
one.
I forgot about
He
that.
said Heats. What are you talking about?
I didn't get that text. Because I said it was
Maybe
on delay.
that might have been in our other
No,
no, because once you said you were on delay,
you went into a different chat. Right.
Yeah, me, my dad, and Mikey went into a different chat.
Right, but even after the fact, nothing. Right. Sometimes there's a little chatting after a game or something. Nothing. And then of course he gets hurt, and here come the text. So I just want to say you call him soft, but that wasn't a soft play. And I can just see you sitting there going, "No, I'm gonna have to listen to Cousin Ed talk about Chytil, blah, blah, blah," instead of just being happy that he did well. But anyway, we'll see how he does when he gets back from the concussion, because you are right. He gets in, on the upswing and then gets hurt and then struggles when he gets back. So curious to see how he plays when he recovers from the concussion. Hopefully he's not out too long. But anyway, can't put him in the doghouse for being hurt, right? That was the rule last week. Somebody said that. Who was it, Mike?
I don't know if that was an actual bona fide rule.
It was a producer and post rule, so we're bound by it. Anyway, let's talk quickly about Adam Fox. Just quick. So Fox, I think he's struggling to start the year. I mean, he's on the ice for both goals against San Jose. He's on the ice a lot, so he's going to be on the ice for goals against, but he just doesn't look there yet. And I wonder if the long season, he was banged up at the end of last year, and then he performed well in the playoffs points wise. But coach, I mean, when you're watching Fox, do you think he's there yet, or you think something's off, or am I totally off base?
I'm not having an issue with Fox at all. I think the Rangers in general are getting opportunities. Kreider's getting multiple opportunities. He's snake bit. He's going back to his old bad luck, if you want to call it that, or something's not clicking. That game against Columbus, again, they were shooting it into his glove. They made that guy look like a superstar. They're not finishing. They're getting opportunities. That game could be totally different if they put a couple in early. We talked about that all last year in the beginning of the year. And I feel like they're just that little bit of snake bit. I mean, he's getting chances, Fox. He had a couple of good goal scoring chances, and he's making passes for sure. The power play looks a little motionless.
Mostly defensively, coach. I'm talking about with Fox.
Oh.
I mean, he's standing around a little bit. If you go back and look at both of the Sharks' goals, it's Fox kind of waving his stick out of position. Offensively, I don't have an issue with Fox.
I think that's Fox. I don't see it any different. I think we talked about it, touched on it since he started, that he's just not. He makes smart plays defensively, but sometimes he's just standing there watching. I see Lindgren. Sometimes I'll see Fox stand there and Lindgren goes, "Oh, well, I better go get it." He'll just jump past him and go into the corner because Fox is just thinking about something else.
I think because he's not producing as much, we're noticing it more. Because usually he's putting up a ton of points, and we let a little bit of lack of defense slide. and it's going a little bit more noticeable this year because he's not putting up nearly as many points as we're used to.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's at a point a game, but I don't know. There's just something missing for me in his game. Let's see how he performs. I'm sure he'll be fine. I think he might just have to
He's
build
really
into
at a
the
point
season.
game.
Yeah, he's got 5 assists and a goal. So yeah. It doesn't feel like it, but he
No.
is at a point a game. But yeah, we'll see. I think he'll be fine. And Coach, I wanted to ask you as well, the decision to play Yaro Halak versus Columbus. Well, here's
Ed, with you, there'll be no right decision to make.
No, I'm
No
just
matter
asking.
when they put in the backup goalie, if they don't win 5-0, it's a mistake. All last year.
No, well, that's not true.
It
I
is
think
definitely true.
Well,
And
here's
second of all,
I didn't even ask the question yet. You're jumping down my throat.
Go ahead.
The question isn't, first of all, for the fans out there, we do this podcast to analyze the Rangers, which calls for us to question decisions that are made and not just say, hey, decisions were made. They made the best decision they could. It's to say, was it the right decision? That is literally what we're doing here, right?
I literally just had this argument with somebody online because she was like, why would you do that? Why would you take out Igor? I was like, I never said I would. I just was saying I was giving a reason why maybe Gallant did.
But
we're doing here as podcasters.
Right.
Yeah.
We're just analyzing.
That's so
dude.
funny that you said that because I literally just said something like that word for word.
So my question isn't, oh, that was the wrong decision. If you let me ask it, it was he makes the decision to play Halak against Columbus. Igor had plenty of rest. It wasn't a rest thing. I'm just asking, do you think he did that because maybe we got a back-to-back here with Colorado and the Islanders, and he wants to play Igor in both of those games, so he wanted to get Halak in against Columbus, who he probably identified as a weaker team. Do you think he makes random decisions with goalies and says, we'll go with Halak tonight?
Well,
or do you think he's strategizing?
Again, we're not in the let's say the war room, but Rupper just said it on NHL. Me and Eddie were listening to it, that these decisions are made almost before the season. The goalie coach has a system where they'll pick for rest areas, for back-to-backs, and so on situations. And this decision, the schedule of goaltenders for most teams is already set before. They're not making it on a weekly basis.
Oh, interesting.
That's what he said. I mean, if the Rangers do that, I don't know. I'm going to say the feeling is it's up to Benoit Allaire, the way Valaquette raves about Benoit, how he should be in the Hall of Fame, which I probably agree with. But if he's making those decisions, he's the type of guy that's going to have a system of when they're going to play and days and rest and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they said obviously it depends on like the situation and like when the time comes, but for the most part, they have every goalie penciled in for each game. I mean, you look at the schedule coming up and you have to put him in somewhere. I mean, it's not like Igor is on fire right now where he's coming off a shutout and the Rangers are 5-0 with him in net. And when do you take him out? And when's a good time? It's not that situation at all. You got to take him out, and you have to assume that the Rangers are going to step up against Columbus and give them a chance to win. And it's not like Halak's not a good backup. When the Rangers signed Halak, we were all saying, oh, he's a great backup. He's a Ranger killer. He's going to do great, blah, blah. He's in there for one game, and I don't think he also didn't play that bad, I don't think. I mean, he could have been a lot worse. He stopped Goudreau on a breakaway. He stopped him again on a 2-on-1 where I think Lindgren took away the pass. So it was kind of like a little mini breakaway for Goudreau. He stopped him on that one. So realistically, I think the Blue Jackets could have won maybe like 8 or 9-1. And he almost kept it closer than it should have been.
According to
Val, if the Rangers put in a few goals, it's a completely different game.
Well, that's always the case. But according to Valley with Clear Sight Analytics, the expected goals against in that game for Columbus was 1.77 goals against, and he gave up 5 goals. So, I mean, I did see him make some nice saves. He made some nice saves, but 5 goals on 21 shots with an expected goals against of 1.77. Not a great performance. He even admitted it after the game. He said, that was not my best performance. I'll be fine. I'll perform. I want to help this team win. This wasn't my best, but I'll be better. I have no issues with Halak as a backup after 2 games. You're not going to write somebody off and say they're done or something. but he has not performed well. I mean, we can't sit here and say he's been fine. He's not been fine. It's just only 2 games. I mean, with Shesterkin in net, the Rangers have they're 3-0-1. With Halak in net, they're 0-2-0. Just them's the breaks, but that's the reality. So I don't think I think that you can say Halak is, not performing well in these 2 games while also saying he's a veteran backup who's going to be fine as the season goes on. You could say both of those things. You don't have to defend his performance, in other words.
I'm
Yeah,
not defending his performance. I'm defending the fact that the team didn't play well. Just like in the Sharks game, you want to say that was an overtime loss. So you're giving Shesterkin 3-0-1, but the Rangers had 1 shot on goal in the 3rd period.
Well, Shesterkin's the reason it went to overtime. They gave up 16 shots in the 3rd period.
Right.
They got without him, the game's a regulation loss. If Halak's in net, they lose that regulation, 100%. 100%, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I was more trying to calm down the fans out there about saying there's a lot out there saying like, why'd you start Halak? Why this? Like, they got to start him at some point. And like, you gotta, it's up to the Rangers to step up in games like that and play better when they have the backup in net.
Yeah, I think
not play worse or play down to the Blue Jackets level.
Yeah, I agree. I think the start makes sense. If Shesterkin plays tonight and tomorrow, then I get it. Then I'm perfectly fine with it. But yeah, there's no reason the first 6 games of the year we have the backup starting 2 games. I mean, the plan should be to ride Igor 50 plus games, right? 60 games, close to. I think.
But you're telling me you want him to start like the first multiple games in the first 20. But then what are you going to do when they're pushing towards the playoffs and there's a hot streak going? Then they put Halak in. You're going to say, why'd they put him in then? It has to be over the spread of the season, and that's the schedule they make to spread it out, I would feel.
Well, Coach, I can guarantee you whenever Halak comes in and doesn't perform well, that will be a topic for us to discuss.
Without a doubt. I know that's coming.
Was it the right decision? Of course it'll be a topic. Why
How about the decision? How about he lets in those 2, let's call them soft goals that I'm sure he was pissed off about. And then I'm going to say within the 2 minutes after the second one, they let up the breakaway.
Yeah.
I mean, are you kidding me? Come on. As a team, you got to be aware of what's going on out there. These are professionals. They know they can't go for every break, every pinch, everything. They let up a breakaway.
Well, I think also a lot of these, people are looking at the schedule and they're saying, oh, the Rangers are playing these bad teams. They need to get these points. But, where they're falling on the Rangers schedule is not advantageous to the Rangers, meaning that a lot of them have already played 4 or 5 games and they're winless or like have 1 win or 2 points, and they're desperate to not go, because if they fall way too far behind in the standings, they're out. So those teams are super desperate. Columbus out the gate slow, San Jose 0-5. Those teams need to win those games, and they left it all out there, whereas the Rangers maybe didn't, play up to snuff. So we'll see how they perform against Colorado. The Islanders, another team desperate for points. Islanders are last in the East right now. And they're a team that a lot of people expect to be battling for a playoff spot, if not in the top 3 in the Metro. So, they're going to be desperate. They're going to have to go into, what is it, UBS Arena? I don't even know what they call it nowadays. And match that. Is that the arena? I don't even. Yes. I haven't been. Okay. Yeah. So they're going to have to go in there and match their intensity in a game that they're desperate, or they're not going to get points. That's just the reality, So you can't just take a light team on the schedule and say, play the backup, we should win anyway. That's just not how it works. So I'm hoping that's not what the Rangers did. But what you said about Rupp, that makes more sense to me, that maybe the goalie coach and the coach strategize like, all right, the first 30 games, we're going to give Halak this game, this game, this game, and this game, and, whatever.
I mean, I'm guilty of it as a coach. I don't let the goalies know until like right before the game.
Well, you got to give them a 24 hours notice, dude.
So but NHL goalies, the mental capacity and the mental preparation is so much more advanced. I'm sure they prefer to be able to prepare a week in advance, study films and do all that work ahead of time. So I'm sure that's one of the reasons why they might not do over the course of a season the schedule, but like you said, they might do in 20 game increments, say something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you'd have to, because you don't know how the other teams are going to be playing, how the goalies are going to be playing. I think you can't schedule a game in March.
Right.
Um,
Injury wise,
Right.
who's banged up a little.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's move on into the broadcast banter.
Ed, excuse me 1 minute. Ed, can you Instagram Valaket and ask him if that's how the Rangers do it?
I could try, but he's probably not going to answer.
All right, well.
It's worth a shot.
Start the convo. All right. Let's move into the broadcast banter. We got 2 MSG games. I didn't catch anything in these games that I thought were like, oh my God, with Sam.
I got one with Sam.
Just a couple of like normal Sam things, but I'm not even writing those down anymore. Like it has to be like really bad for me to write it.
Yeah, earth shattering.
I mean, I don't know if this is earth shattering, but it was during the San Jose game. I think they might have got 2 delay of game penalties over the glass, but at least one of them, Sam goes, and there he goes, clears it all the way down. No, it's over the glass. That will be a delay of game. Like just
classic.
Completely, yeah.
Just a classic.
So funny.
Classic.
That I was at the game, and that actually would have happened right in front of him, so he would have seen it go right over the glass.
I think it actually put them on a 5-on-3. So the guy was trying to ice it on a kill.
Yeah.
And he goes, and he sends it all the way down. Oh no, it's over the glass. So funny.
Oh
That's
my
great.
God. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I didn't get anything either, cause I'm with you.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. And I didn't catch, I mean, I gotta honestly, some games I sit there and I'm really focused on the banter, and other games I'm more focused on, watching the game and
I
less
think I
focused
was
on banter.
I think I was so disgusted with the way they were playing the 2 games.
It's hard
Yeah.
to write stuff down when they're playing poorly because
Well,
it's not like exciting. It's like, all right, Sam, shut up because you're pissed off. It's like,
Right. Well, like one of the things I noticed is like when the Rangers struggle, the Micheletti is just look. I don't like Homer
It's tough.
announcers. I don't like Homer announcers. I do think that it's really annoying when another team's announcers are super Homerish and think everything's a penalty and they're rooting, like too much rooting. You watch the Met games. Gary Cohen's obviously a Mets fan, but that shows when they do well. But he's very professional, and he can be balanced, right?
And
So I
Keith
do like
Hernandez will tell it like it is.
right. I like that, but Micheletti's got to be a little more Homerish, just a little, like, dude, a little bit. He's got to root for the Rangers a little bit. He's announcing the Rangers games. I mean, on the Sillinger play where Chytil gets concussed, he literally went on for like 2 minutes about how great of a kid Sillinger is and how there was no intent and that it was completely accidental. And I'm like, you don't even know, like it just happened. And you're just like completely like all the fans are out there angry that they're, Chytil's injured. And he's just like, this is not Sillinger's fault at all. The coach is screaming at the refs for a penalty. It's like nothing. So I think that he could bring in a little bit more of that. That frustrates me. So that's a little bit of banter, I guess. That's not.
How about the
definitely
Kako play where he had the collision, and then he goes and says to the guy, like taps him, he's like, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a fan of that.
What the NHLPA? Pretty much is what you're not a fan of, that the players unionize and all know each other and change.
No, how about you could do it after the game, but not in the course of the game.
I'm fine with it.
I'm not fine with that.
Game 6 of the regular season is okay. Not in the playoff.
You need a little grit.
All right, this will be a quick banter, I guess. We'll move on, but I got one more to make Cousin Ed happy. After Chytil scored the goal, Joe Micheletti goes, the kids have grown up. Philip Chytil, stronger, faster, hard on the puck.
I did write that one down, actually. Damn it. Yeah, that is true. He did say that. The kids have grown up, he says.
Kids have grown up.
He just continues to get stronger every year.
Yeah,
stronger, Sam,
faster.
he continues to work out and just get faster and bigger. So funny. All right, let's move off the banter. Let's jump into our stars of the week. All right, offensive player of the week.
They got 2 goals.
2 games, 3 goals. I mean, listen, I don't even know what to do here. I guess Panarin. Like
It's the
2
only
goals.
person you could give it to.
2
my
goals. I mean, I just don't want to pick him, but because I didn't like his overall game, but he scored 2 goals, so he finished. I guess.
Yep.
Coach, what about you, Coach?
I'll agree with you on that. I mean, there's no one else you can really give it to.
Little Ed,
Panarin as well. This is gonna be a tough awards. I'm telling
Mike.
Yeah,
you. I had
Redman.
struggled with this one.
All right, Little Ed, our defensive coach, give us your defensive player of the week.
I actually went with Kako on this one. I mean, like I said, there wasn't a lot to pick from these games, but I did notice Kako making a lot of good back checks. I think he was out there killing some penalties. I think he's really growing into that two-way player that we talk about a lot. So yeah, I figured why not give it to Kako.
Yeah, Kako is a beast defensively, so it's nice that he shows up a little bit.
He's really good at that like neutral zone pickpocket. Like he'll just like come up behind the guy and just he's very good at doing the quick stick lift and take the puck in like one motion.
The back
He does
pressure.
Yeah, he does that a lot with the back pressure.
Yeah, for sure. He's got that little bit of that Marian Hossa in him, a little bit of that Datsuyuk talent.
Yeah, this is a good comparison. Let's hope so.
I went with Igor Shesterkin just for his 3rd period against San Jose. That's it. Just for that 1 period, get us a point in the 2 games because it would have been 0 points without that. So I got to give it to him.
That's a good call.
Didn't really play well the rest of the game, but it is what it is. Coach, what about you?
I'll go with Kako also.
So you're just deciding now?
I'm riding
right
the
now.
coattails.
He's right.
I didn't have it. Yeah, I'm going with Kako.
That's okay.
He did have the good back check. He stopped. He caught that one guy on the 2-on-1, made it a 2-on-2.
Oh yeah, that's one play. Yeah,
I noticed him
great
out
play.
there back checking a lot.
That would have been a goal, 100%. That was another opportunity for Goujo to score. That would have been right on his stick with a wide open net.
They had a few of those. The Carpenter one on the 2-on-1 with Kravtsov too. He shot it right into the logo of the goalie. Mike, what about you for defense?
I went with Keandre Miller. I was like I said before, I was at the Sharks game, so I actually made it a point to watch him, and he made a lot of good plays from where I was sitting.
Yeah, but if you're gonna pick Keandre Miller, you have to say it like Joe Tollison. You have to say Keandre Miller. You can't just say Keandre Miller. All right. Highlight play of the week. Let's start with Coach since he wants to ride coattails. Let's give us the opportunity to ride his coattails on the highlight play.
I have the aforementioned hit by Truber on the guy in the slot after he got that rebound shot.
All right, I took the Chytil goal where he stole the puck, came in, sniped. I'm sure I'm the only one who took it. What about you, Mike?
No, I did. Like I said, I was at that game, so that was very nice to watch live.
Yeah, it's a tough game to be at. I'm sorry you went to it and paid money to go. Little Ed, what about you?
I went with the Panarin goal, but specifically being announced in Spanish.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
That was hilarious. Panarin.
That was the one against San Jose, right?
Dying. Yeah, that was so good. Yeah, was this? Yeah, it was San Jose.
Yeah, that was
the one timer from like down by the circle.
Yeah, it was really funny. I did like that clip.
First ever NHL game being broadcasting in Spanish. So
really?
Yeah, it just reminded me of that Simpsons episode with the soccer. You guys remember that? I showed you that clip, I think. They have the American announcer announcing soccer and then the Spanish announcer. So the American announcer is like center, passes it to the wing, passes it to the defense, back to the wing, and then they show the Spanish guy and he's like center, passes it to wing, back to defense, back to the wing, back to center. It's so funny.
Did you guys happen to notice going back to this just struck me a little bit.
Shocker.
The Rangers power play against Columbus. You talk about a goalie studying film. Every time Zibanejad took a one-timer, that kid was square to the puck.
I was thinking the same thing. He was ready for it.
So why wouldn't he go cross crease to Kreider once? Once, just try it once.
This is what we were talking about last
Come
week.
on.
They got to mix it up. He's
guy
hitting him right in
was
the chest. At least he's hitting the
square.
net. At least he's hitting
Yeah,
the
I
net.
give him that, but he's square to the ball. He was ready every time.
Yeah.
You know we're in the middle of the awards section.
I
right?
get it, but things come back to me, and I'm old.
All right, key contributor, the Jesper Fast Key Contributor Award.
This is a tough one.
Let's go with Little Ed. I'll ride your coattails on this.
No, I got no one. I literally have a blank spot. Like I'm not giving. There's no. I can't even think of an excuse to give it to somebody. I was trying to think of like a coaching staff. Maybe there was an injury. I was going to give it to the training staff. Couldn't think of anything.
Nothing.
Nah, I got nothing, man.
Same. I had it blank. Not gonna lie. I don't have a key. I was like, I can give it to Lindgren, just because he could always win it, So it's like,
he always could do something, I guess.
Maybe I just give it to Lindgren. But honestly, I just feel like nobody on the team really played well in that kind of a role. Even Goudreau, didn't do his normal things. I thought he wasn't noticeable in a helpful way. Sammy Blais, not really helpful. Reeves is out of gas in 10 seconds on every shift. It's hard to give it to him. Lindgren, Fox and Lindgren on the ice for goals against. No, I'm just saying, so all the generic.
He skates hard, but he doesn't really do much.
The generic key contributors, it was difficult to give it to somebody.
Revo had that nice move against San Jose.
I would have given it to Chytil, but he missed the whole game. So it's like, it's hard to give it to him for the one game against San Jose. So I left it blank too.
Why didn't you give him every award? Because he had a good back check. He got the goal. The key contributor is a goal also.
I'm gonna give it to Chytil.
And you could put him in the dog. And you could put him in the doghouse too.
I'm gonna give it to Chytil for his play against San Jose. I'm gonna give it to him because there really wasn't anyone else to give it to. All right, Coach, who you got?
I'm giving it to Lindy.
Yeah, he could always win it.
I mean, win or lose, that guy puts a freaking. He just throws everything out there.
All right, put me down for Lindy then too, I guess.
Mike, who you got?
I put Trocheck down.
Trocheck.
A little more from Trocheck. That's back-to-back weeks for you, Mike. Huh? On the Little Ed and Coach last week with Troch.
Yeah, I had him last week. I was thinking about him this week too, but I didn't want to go back to back, and I didn't see anything too flashy or too noticeable from him. Why do you got Trocheck, Mikey?
Definitely with the faceoffs, you see an improvement, and I don't know. I feel like after these games under his belt, he's playing a little more confident, more comfortable with the team and his line mates. He almost scored 10 seconds into that Sharks game.
He hit a couple posts against Columbus too.
Again, they're snake bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully the floodgates open up tonight.
Yeah, I did notice Trocheck. He lost the faceoff in overtime though.
Yeah.
That was the possession. That's the big one.
That's big. That is big.
So
all right.
Moving into the doghouse before we start.
Who was in last week? Go over that first.
Let's enter Coach Ed's copyright doghouse award of the week. Before we start, I have a question. Can you give somebody offensive player of the week and the doghouse award?
I was actually thinking the same thing, to be honest with you, and I thought you'd yell at me.
I don't think you really can, right? I mean, I don't know. All right. So last week, we'll start with Coach. Last week, he had Tally Kravtsov in the doghouse. Is Kravtsov out of the doghouse?
No, because he came back and he did absolutely nothing.
Okay, so he's still in the doghouse. Is there someone new in the doghouse for this week, or are you just leaving it Kravtsov?
I mean, the whole team. You can put the whole freaking team in there. But I'm leaving Kravtsov in there.
I don't think we have enough jalapeno fries for the whole team.
Kravtsov. Coach Ed's doghouse mostly been, since we started this podcast, Bushnevich, Kravtsov, and Chytil combined for 85% of his doghouse awards.
78 episodes.
I went with Fox. Again, for all the reasons I said earlier. I just think he's lacking. I think defensively, his positioning, he's not strong enough on the puck right now. He's getting his points, but I expect more from him. He's an elite defenseman making $9.5 million. So I mean, he's got to play that way. Little Ed, what about you?
I went with Kreider. We've talked about this many times in the past, especially me. I think Kreider is he drives a lot of the offensive or the team's energy.
Is Kravtsov out for you?
No, he's definitely still in because, like Coach Ed said, he came back and he didn't show anything. Not a lot of energy, nothing really whatsoever. So hopefully, it just takes him a game or two maybe to get a little confidence back and not afraid to get injured or whatever. But he's going to stay in. But I'm also going to add Kreider. Yeah, we just need to see a lot more out of Kreider. We've been talking about him relapsing and going back away after the 50-goal year. I wasn't expecting him to score 50 again, but we definitely need the energy from him because, like I said, I think he drives a lot of the energy for the entire team. And a lot of us had him picked for captain this year. And I want to say thank God he wasn't selected as captain because taking games off like this with a C on his chest would have been even more uglier. So
Yeah.
I think we need a lot more energy. Like I said, if he's not going to score at the clip he did last year, that's okay. But he's got to at least forecheck hard. He's got to be the presence in front. I'm not even seeing much of that really. Or at least the Rangers aren't using that to their advantage this year. So we'll see if they can turn it around.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick. By the way, so you have Kravtsov in. I left Kravtsov in too. So that's not a new selection. He's just still there. He hasn't done enough to get himself out. So next week, the question is going to be: is Kravtsov out? Is Kreider out? And are you putting anybody else in? So we might get cluttered here. I got to make sure I write.
I don't think we can put an extension on the doghouse.
No, I mean,
we got to keep it to 2 players per person at most.
Can you do a little photo of the Coach Ed's doghouse logo with Kravtsov and Kreider in there together right now?
You gotta make it bulging, like there's no more room.
Right.
Yeah.
The roof's coming off.
So yeah. Anyway, so Mike, last week you had the doghouse empty, so there's no one to take out. Who are you putting in this week, if anyone?
This week's gonna be crowded. I'm putting the PP1 in there to go 1 for 8 in 2 games.
Yeah.
After all the praise, after saying such a deadly power play the Rangers have to go 1 for 8. That Sharks game, I think they had 4 penalties in the first period, and they couldn't do anything. I know you guys were just chirping about it before with Panarin, with Mika, excuse me. That's just unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Yeah, and that goal
against 2 teams, one team that's 0-5.
And that goal they scored, Mike, the Panarin goal, was at the tail end of a 5-on-3 on a giveaway, a cross-size giveaway that with 1 second left on the 5-on-3 that they didn't even deserve that goal. Like that was they literally, I mean, whatever.
It wasn't even like a
had nothing to do with it
goal.
being a
was
power
just
play, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it wasn't a 5-on-3 power play goal.
It wasn't
Right,
a
it
set-up
was-
play or anything like that.
I mean, I'll take it, but it's not like that. That's not even fair. So I really marked that as 0 for 8, to be honest.
By the way, did Columbus end up getting a power play goal?
Did Columbus end up getting a power
Because
play
Sam
goal?
was almost willing them to get one. On their first power play, he said multiple times in the 2 minutes that they were 0 for 15 to start the season.
They're 0 for
That
1.
should have been my banter. I'm sorry. I'm going back to banter.
Yeah, I mean, come on, we're trying to keep this structured. All right, so Mike's got 5 people in the doghouse, but I'm gonna make it PP1, so it's not individual. So you're not gonna be pulling one
unit.
guy out. Right. You have to remove the entire PP1 as a unit out, or the whole PP1 stays.
So are there 5 guys in the doghouse?
Well, yeah, but only on the power play. So they're
No,
they're
it's more of like the clipboard with the power play drawn up on it.
right. They're
Okay.
even strength. Their even strength performances cannot be a basis for you to remove them from the doghouse. Put it that way.
How about when the Rangers pull the goalie? No, they had the 5-on-3 power play. They call a timeout. It was like the second period.
Yeah.
It was
They
the
call
first.
a timeout. The coach draws up this elaborate play for the whole timeout. They didn't do anything. They all stood there. I'm like, what was this play he drew up?
Yeah. Just wasn't there.
This episode is officially being retitled "Coach Ed's Gears Are Grinded or Ground." whatever would be the
Come
past tense.
on.
You've
Yeah.
literally just been, your gears are grinding on the team as a whole. In the
I'm
entire
sweating.
episode.
I'm sweating today.
I
I'm
do
sweating.
have a quick comment on the power play. I mean, the Sharks were playing very aggressive, and I think they need to shoot a lot more when that happens. Because when they try and get cute and make those passes, which they can usually get away with when teams are playing a zone, I think when they play a little bit more aggressive, they just got to get a few more shots on net. And like I said, that Kreider net front presence. So we'll end on that, I think.
Yeah. All right. So let's, before we get into the trivia, let's kick it off to our first Rangers Ed 150 with Mikey P for the season. Well, it's good to have Mikey back.
Mikey P.
Love what he does.
Yeah. It's good to
Yeah.
have him back. So let's do trivia. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, a lot of
What do you get?
surprises around the league with Mikey P. I feel like a lot of teams that we weren't really expecting to be playoff teams are kind of playing that way right now. So hopefully the league evens back out a little bit and everything goes back to right in the world.
Yeah, like cat a hat.
Yeah, kind of hot specifically.
Coach Ed's
Ra-
favorite goalie.
We'll be at the Rangers game next week against Philly, so that would be a tough trip to the Garden if they lose to Philly. That's for
I wonder
sure.
if there's a chance that there's a fist fight between Gallant and Tortorella during the game.
Speaking
guys-
of coaches, the entire Garden, I didn't boo him, but the entire Garden booed Quinn,
That's
by the way.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
He was a bad coach. You get booed.
I don't know
Let's not
about
get
that.
into
That's
it.
not respectful.
I mean, do we have to be respectful as to people as fans? Like, we're fans of a team. I'm respectful in life of people, I interact with in business and work and, in family. I don't have to be respectful of David Quinn when I pay money to go watch the Rangers if I thought he was terrible. But
I don't think he was terrible, so we could debate that all day. So
no, we
did it a
did that
lot
enough in,
last
year.
in season
Season-
1 and 2 of the podcast.
I don't think
Yeah.
he was that bad where he should be booed. It's not like he
A lot of fans blame his usage of young talent for the Rangers' struggle to develop offensive players, and rightfully so in a lot of respects. But we'll talk about that again at some point, Coach. Let's jump into the trivia. Let's jump before Coach tells me I'm wrong and goes on a 30-minute thing about David Quinn.
All right, we got a 2-point question here.
2-point question. They need it.
You get a
so-
point per name. I need 2 names. You get a point per name.
All right. So real quick for the season,
we don't have to do this again.
for
I
the
knew you were
season.
gonna do it.
For the
knew
season,
it.
I've won. Little Ed has 0, Coach Ed has 0, and cumulatively, I got 22.5. Coach with 14, Little Ed with 12.5. So if Coach gets this wrong and Little Ed gets it right, you'll move ahead of him in the standings cumulatively. All right,
Human for the
hit me.
the career.
What 2 players are tied for the most penalty minutes on the team? You get a point per name. Max 2 points. Minimum 0 points.
Taking a guess. I don't want to show you.
Guys.
I don't want to show you because they didn't write it down yet.
I'm ready.
I have a wild guess.
All right. Little Ed has got
Trouba and Lindgren.
and Lindgren. Trouba and Lindgren from Cuz. Trouba and Lindgren from Coach.
Wow. All 3 of us went with Troop and Lindgren, huh?
We gotta at least get one of them.
I had
So-
Theo supplant a small camera behind it.
Lindgren is one of them, so everyone does get a point.
Yeah.
Second person is Filipino,
Wow.
Wow.
both tied for 6.
Another
And
reason
Reeves-
to put him in the house.
And Reeves was the trick there, Mike. You're getting slick. Reeves was the trick because he's the expected, but he only has the fight. He's taking no minor penalties.
Right, so it
This is
couldn't be a
correct.
tie unless someone else had a fight.
He has 5 minutes. and they got
yeah.
sticks. So
That's why I
Mike-
didn't pick Revo.
Yeah, I know. I've been catching on to Mike. He tries to get a little slick with it here.
I love it. Good question.
Well, that's what he's
fooled me.
supposed to do. What do you want him? What do you want him to hand them to you?
You make us look good in front of the fans, you know. Give us a couple softballs instead of being like in 1940. What was it? What did he do that one time? We made
Who
a
is the
rule. It
only
has to-
pre-civil
post
war?
1974. All right, cool. So we all got one there. That's kind of cool. I think that's the first time we all have the same exact answer.
I would say so. Yeah.
Interesting. So, all right, let's go watch the Avalanche game. Hopefully, you guys haven't checked in on it yet
I'm
because I
afraid to
haven't.
turn it on. To be honest,
I
with
don't
you.
even. I don't even want to see Georgiev with a shutout or something. I'm gonna lose my mind. And Hunt with a goal. I know it's coming, but I'm gonna start from scratch and
Me too.
not look at the score or try and enjoy the game. Hopefully, they do well. And then we got the Islanders tomorrow. In God, where is UBS? Brooklyn?
Queens.
Where the hell
It's
they are?
actually
Elmont.
Nassau County. Yeah.
Elmont.
Can they just pick a place and just stay there so I don't have to deal with this?
I think they're going to be at UBS for a while.
Islanders
That
and-
place is actually really, really nice.
Yeah, then they got this the Southwestern road trip, which we should do one year if we can
I'd love to.
arrange it. Dallas, Arizona, to end the month, and then after Halloween, we'll be back in recording to go over these 4 games. So, thanks for listening, fans. We really appreciate it. Thanks to our sponsors, Long On Hockey Company. Thanks to you guys. Good episode, Coach. Stop trolling me so much.
Thanks to Oscar.
Yeah,
Thank
shout
you.
out to
Yeah, thanks
Oscar.
to
Oscar, that
Oscar.
was awesome.
Thanks to Oscar. Yeah. Yeah, thanks to Oscar. I look forward to getting 2 jerseys, my Kovalev from the cup, and then also
Surprise.
a surprise.
I'm looking for
jersey
number
jinx.
4 Schneid. A little hint. Oscar.
No, we'll
Yeah.
get you the 45 Schneider. That would be cool. That one would be cool. But anyway. All right, boys.
Yep. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, all your fans or other fans. Please subscribe to our YouTube, guys. We'll do a fan giveaway to all of our subscribers once we hit a number. Maybe we'll make it like 50 subscribers or something. We'll do some kind of a giveaway. So
We
please
got plenty of
subscribe.
Lundqvist banners.
Yeah, we got plenty of Lundqvist banners on deck, so we could definitely do something like that. So yeah, guys, please subscribe. Definitely listen on iTunes, Spotify, Google, and I think we're gonna be on Amazon pretty soon. So let's do all that up. And thanks for all your support, and keep sharing with your friends too. If you're a new listener, tell your friends. We need to get
Yeah,
our
thanks, guys.
listeners up this season. Everyone,
Way to
Thanks,
go,
guys.
fellas. Have a good night.
let's
Good
go
night.
Rangers! Beat the Avalanche.
Good night, guys.
Night.